On number 10, we get down to the elimination method. So we've already had 2 graphing problems. Right above 8 and 9, number 6 and 7, or 2 substitution problems. And now 10 and 11, we've got elimination problems. So they're spaced out on this test, okay? And they're in the order that we learned them. Solve using elimination. This is that method where we want to add these equations together and have something cancel. Okay? It's most people's favorite. It's kind of the bread and butter of whenever they're lined up in standard form of what we go to. It's also one that's always on the EOC all the time. So it's a great one to get a hold of now so that you're not fretting over it whenever second semester rolls around. You have to do it. Solve using elimination. Number 10, I naturally just see the 2 and the 4 and know, I can turn a 2 into a 4. This is already negative. This is already positive. Those are going to cancel. A lot of you like to use just the x's, okay? And that's fine, but it's just a little bit more work here. I'm going to cancel out the y's because I know I can multiply this bottom equation by 2. And it'll get it done for me. This is going to give me a new equation of 12x minus 4y equals 12. That's 12x minus 4y equals 12. And my first equation did not change. 3x plus 4y equals 18. Okay, so that's that one, and that's that one. Whenever I add these together, I get 15x. These cancel, my y's cancel. Equals 30. Please do not forget about these numbers on the very end. People forget to multiply a lot. They will give me a 6 here on accident, and it won't work out, and they'll wonder why they're getting crazy decimals. Don't forget about those end numbers. Also, when you go to add, then don't forget about them. Don't just write one of them down. You have to add these together as well. So that when we divide by 15 and divide by 15, we get that x equals a nice 2. Okay, nice whole number 2. Now, whenever I go to find my y value, I have to just take this x value and plug it into one of my original equations. I'm going to choose that top equation just because it's all positive numbers. That's about as much thought as I put into it. So you're going to have a little bit more room to work this on the test. We have 3, and instead of x, we're going to plug in that 2 we just found. Plus 4y equals 18. Please don't get it confused with this 2. This 2 has nothing to do with it anymore. It's the fact that x equals 2 here. That's why we plugged it in. That's going to be a 6. And we're going to subtract 6 from both sides, leaving us with 4y equals 12. Okay, minus 6 is 12. This one's going to cancel. Divide by 4, y equals 3. Please make sure you're writing your answers as a point here. 2, 3. That should be what you have answered. That should be what you have boxed in or circled or have a star next to. However you denote your answers, that's what you should have. Okay? Number 11. We can't really start this problem yet. It's got all these decimals flying around. Could you do elimination method with the decimals in it? Yes, but it's very messy. So I'm going to multiply these by 10, both equations. If one of them was to the hundreds, I'd multiply that one by 100. But these are both just to the 10th place, 10th, 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 10th. Okay, I know these are 3.6 and 1.2. These are still just 10th place decimals. Okay, when I multiply by 10, I get 2x. Plus 6y equals 36. I get 4x minus 9y equals negative 12. Now these are a little bit cleaner. I can now see that my top equation, I can turn this 2x into a 4x. And in fact, I'll make it a negative 4x. I don't want to mess with the y values. I don't want to try to turn a 6 into a 9. I would have to turn these both into a larger number. The only one that I can think of off the top of my head is 54. And I don't want to do that. Okay, so let's just multiply this top equation by negative 2. I'm going to write it out here. Just kind of running out of room over there. You can multiply by negative 2. Okay, remember, we're not using these anymore. These are gone. Don't get confused. These are gone. So someone always asks, well, couldn't I have just multiplied that equation by a negative 20 to start with? Yes, you could have. But most people don't see that going in. They don't see, oh, if I multiply this by negative 20, it's going to get rid of all my x's. Okay, that's just, most people don't see it. So I wait and do it in a separate step. Negative 2 times 2x is negative 4x minus 12y. And then here we get a negative 72. That's this equation out of the way. These are my only 2 equations I have left now. Okay, and I'm going to add them together. When I add them together, these are going to cancel. I'm going to get a negative 21y equals negative 84. And I'm starting to fret a little bit because these are kind of some really weird numbers. I'm going to continue working and see if I get a nice whole answer. Negative 21 divided by on both sides. Okay, and that should be just a 4. Negative 84 divided by negative 21 is just a regular 4. Okay, so y equals 4. That's half my answer, only half. To find the other half, I just take that information and plug it in. One of the only equations I can still read very well is this one, so that's the one I'm going to plug it into. Okay, I have 4x minus 9y equals negative 12. I'm plugging in the fact that y equals 4, just like the substitution method. Okay, we're plugging it in right there for the y. That's 4x minus 9 times 4 equals negative 12. That means 4x minus 36 equals negative 12. Add 36 to both sides. 4x equals 24, meaning x equals 6. Divide by 4, divide by 4, x equals 6. My answer then is 6, 4. Just found some room to write it, that's all. Our bottom section is most people's favorite. I mean, I guess you can't really say you have a favorite section on the math test. None of them are your favorite, really. But if you had to pick, this is the section that most people like the best. Okay? Because you get to choose any method. It says up here, graphing, substitution, elimination. You can use any one of these methods, but that doesn't mean they're all equally good. Okay? Now, if you're relying and you can only do one method, then you're going to have to turn all of these into that method and do it. But these are set up to kind of guide you into a certain method. This first one is set up to be an elimination problem. Okay? Because they're both in standard form. You can see they're stacked on top of each other. Now, how you go about eliminating these is a different story. I can eliminate the x's, but I can't turn a 2 into a 5. I can eliminate the y's, but I can't turn a 3 into a 7. So either way, I'm looking for a bigger number to turn both of them into. All right? I'll just go after the x's. I don't mind turning 2 and 5 into a bigger number. I have a 2 and a 5, and I need a bigger number they both go into. And immediately, I just think about what happens when I multiply them together. I get a 10. So let's use 10. If I want to turn a 2 into a 10, I'm multiplying by 5. If I want to turn a 5 into a 10, I'm multiplying by 2. So you kind of just flip these two numbers. Also, careful with your signs. Think about it. This would be a negative 10. This would be a positive 10. That's exactly what we want. We want same number and opposite signs. That's how elimination works. Okay? So when I multiply here, I'm going to get, I'll just do an arrow. I'll get negative 10x plus 35y equals, oh, I almost did it. I almost said 24. I almost forgot that last multiplication. Okay, 5 times 24 should be a nice 120. Almost wrote 24, guys. Don't do what I almost just did. I almost forgot this last multiplication. Okay, this 5 has to distribute to every piece of the equation. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. Next, I'm going to have 2 times 5x, which is 10x. 2 times negative 3y is negative 6y. And 2 times negative 2 is just a negative 4. Much larger numbers up on the top equation. That's because we multiplied it by the bigger number. Okay? When we add these together, my x's are going to cancel. I get a 29y. Be careful there. Throw that in the calculator just to be sure. Equals a 116. 116. And now again, saying a little Hail Mary, doing a little prayer, hoping that these go into each other evenly. 116 divided by 29. Whew, good. Kind of said a little prayer, worked out nicely. It's a nice even 4. To find my other answer, I just take this information and plug it in. I'm going to plug it in this top equation just because it looks like it has, well, actually, no, I'm going to go with the bottom equation. It has overall smaller numbers. 5x minus 3y, well, y is 4, so we're plugging that in, equals negative 2. That's 5x minus 12 equals negative 2. Okay? I'm going to add 12 to both, or add 12, yep, add 12 to both sides. I get 5x equals 10, which means x equals 2. And I write my answer as 2, 4. Okay? Write my answer as 2, 4.